So come on in, make yourselves comfortable. I appreciate each and every one of you who can join me on these sessions live. I sort of mix them up. I do a variety of live sessions, just completely audio. I've decided to add some of the video live sessions to the mix. I do tend to get a much larger audience, a much larger listenership on the live video sessions for whatever reason. But here we go, guys. Here we go. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're hard at work, enjoying the small, tiny baby Bitcoin bump today. Hope you're stacking harder, guys. Our time is limited. All right. I am doing fine, Chris. Thank you. Thank you for asking. I'm doing absolutely fine. So I was actually doing some thinking about our war-torn world today. And in my pondering how precarious certain situations are in the world, how delicate and sensitive things are in the world, and how we're on the precipice of bursting into a variety of different wars, in addition to the ones that are going on. In all of my pondering that, I came to this realization, not for the first time, but I came to a deepened realization of how Bitcoin is actually peace. Bitcoin is not only peace, but it also fosters higher human productivity. And I want to talk to you about this because Bitcoin is not just a financial instrument that has monetary characteristics. It is over and beyond the financial elements that are obviously tied to it. These are those elements: Bitcoin's number go up capability, its financial characteristics are typically what draws us initially to it. But the deeper you go down the rabbit hole, the more you become aware that this is something very different. This is something unique. This is something over and beyond number go up. This is something more than buying. This is far more important, far more sublime than something that you buy for $1 and sell for $2. There are many things in the world that we can buy for $1 and sell for $2. So Bitcoin is far more special than that. And I believe that the deeper you hodl it, the longer you hodl it, the longer you hold it, the more its special characteristics open up to you. So let's talk about this idea that Bitcoin is actually peace. I want you to first imagine a world in which Bitcoin is the most valuable item on planet Earth. Let's go there. Now, the first thing I think it's important to understand is to realize that Bitcoin is the 9th most valuable thing on planet Earth as we speak. Okay, so Bitcoin in less than 15 years it's now the 10th. So Bitcoin is the 10th most valuable item on planet Earth. Now, let me show you this, all right, so that we can add a visual to this point that I want to make here. Okay, I will show it to you now. Close that. And so if you look carefully here, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, has experienced some great strength over the past few weeks, and it has slipped back above Bitcoin's valuation. Bitcoin had formally taken out Meta a couple of months ago, but these things vacillate back and forth from time to time. So Bitcoin has slipped back into the number 10th spot, but for a baby asset like Bitcoin, only being in existence for 15 years, reaching $1 trillion valuation faster than anything that has ever come into the human domain, becoming the 10th most valuable asset on planet Earth, and becoming the 16th most valuable currency on planet Earth in less than 15 years is extraordinarily impressive. We've never had something that has accomplished these things in such a small, short period of time. Okay? So, very impressive. So, I want you to imagine a world, and I believe that this world is not so far in front of us. I want you to imagine a world where Bitcoin has climbed up this list that you see right here. And it has gone to the number 1 spot. Now, in my book, there are 2 number 1 spots, right? There's the number 1 spot under gold, or outside of gold, is what I will say. Okay. So when I'll show it to you like this. So gold, I consider gold in a category all by itself. It is the most valuable asset in the world based on assumed numbers. All right. And we'll get to that in just a moment. So based on numbers that we assume, gold is the most valuable. Let's put gold aside just for the moment. If we put gold aside, Bitcoin becomes the most valuable asset in the world when it takes out the current valuation of Microsoft. So Microsoft right now is the most valuable asset in the world outside of gold. Bitcoin, in my opinion, in a very relatively short period of time, is going to climb up this list and be the number 1 most valuable asset on planet Earth outside of gold. All right. I believe it has a very good possibility of doing that this cycle. Now, what do I mean by this cycle? Well, this cycle means by the end of 2025. So I think that in less than 2 years, we will see. I could be wrong. This is just my view. I believe there's very good odds that we see Bitcoin take that number 1 spot. Now, outside of gold. Now, where does Bitcoin have to go to reach that? Around $155,000 a Bitcoin. Guys, $160,000 Bitcoin. That is a stone's throw away for Bitcoin. Do you understand? That at no point in Bitcoin's past history has it not achieved from its prior peak, not achieved at least a 5x from its a 3x from its prior peak. Never in its entire history has it not achieved at least a 3x from its prior peak. What was the prior peak? 69,000. Let's round it to 70,000. What's 3 times 70,000? Do you follow what I'm saying here? All right. So we are a stone's throw away from Bitcoin becoming the most valuable thing on earth outside of gold. Now, based on these assumed numbers of gold, all right, Bitcoin would have to supersede $700,000 per Bitcoin to take out gold and become the number 1 asset on planet Earth as far as market capitalization is concerned. Now, why is this important? It's important because if we imagine Bitcoin in a world, if we imagine the world where Bitcoin is the most valuable thing on earth, then what do you sell it for? What do you sell number one for? Number 15? Number 10? The higher Bitcoin goes up this scale that you're looking at, the less it's going to be sold, not the more it's going to be sold. Do you understand what I'm saying? Bitcoin is becoming the ultimate Veblen good, where it becomes more desirable the higher it goes up that list. It gives the person or the group or the organization more status if they have it and less status if they don't have it. That's called a Veblen good, right? Look it up. So the desire to have it will only increase as it goes up this list. The desire to not have it will go down, which means that it is going to be sold less and less and less as it climbs up this list. I want you to understand the Veblen effect, along with the valuation, ties into also Bitcoin being the hardest money on planet Earth that has ever existed. Hard meaning you can't make more. It's hard to come by. It's hard to get more. It's hard to acquire. It's hard to produce. All right. The hardest ever in the history of mankind. The hardest money. One can argue that the entire evolutionary journey of human beings can be summed up by the search for sound money, the hardest money, that you can actually literally view the entire evolutionary path of the human species. You can summarize it by humans' search for the perfect money, which is the ultimate technology. Money is the ultimate technology. And so when we combine the fact that Bitcoin, once it achieves the number one spot as the hardest money on earth, the hardest asset human beings have ever come in contact with, the scarcest item on earth, and that Veblen effect that you're just cooler if you have it and you have lower status if you don't have it, you can imagine a world in which no one sells Bitcoin for the third most valuable thing, or the 10th most valuable thing, or the 20th most valuable thing. And no one sells it. I know this is not easy to wrap. It's not easy for some to wrap their minds around the fact that you can have something that nobody wants to sell that's extraordinarily valuable. But when's the last time you've heard of the Mona Lisa being sold? There are monuments and extraordinarily almost priceless structures that are never sold. The rarest things are not sold. The scarcest things are rarely sold. The most valuable things are rarely moved or sold. And Bitcoin is on its way to that state in which it will be rarely sold. What will be moved back and forth is a version of its value above the base layer. I don't want to get into that. That's a different topic. But its base layer is going to be rarely moved. Now, why is this important, and how does it tie into this idea that Bitcoin is peace? Because for the first time, value, the most valuable thing, the hardest thing to get, that Veblen good that we all seek for the first time in the human experience, it can't be taken. You see, throughout all of human mankind, value could be stolen, which incites violence, which makes violence profitable. If you triple your value and I can steal your value without the work necessary to earn it myself, then violence gets rewarded, does it not? I don't need your skill if I am more violent than you. I can take your very life from you if I am violent. I can steal, confiscate your value. And every single war throughout history, people, every single war in the human experience came down to one thing: stealing someone else's value. Whether that value was property, their land, or the gold in their vaults, or even access to enslave their people. Slaves used to be property, right? It always comes down to taking another man's value. That is at the root of every single human conflict, every single war in the human experience. And for the first time, the ultimate, most sublime thing on earth, Bitcoin, the scarcest thing for the first time, the hardest thing to get for the first time, the thing of most value for the first time can't be stolen. And if value can't be stolen, then it must be worked for. And so we turn this urge to be violent with each other to the urge to serve each other. Because the only way I am going to get Bitcoin from you is I must serve you. I must do something special for you, so special that you're willing to give me a little piece of the most valuable thing on earth that is mathematically designed to become more valuable, more scarce every 4 years of its life forever. For me to give up my future, the future gains of this, the increased security, the improved future for my family, to give this up to you, you're going to have to come to me correctly. Violence will not work anymore. You're going to have to serve me. You're going to have to find something valuable, something so special, something so to get Bitcoin. Do you see what I'm saying? And in this way, it fosters peace and brings about prosperity. Imagine how much theft exists in the world today, how much stealing, how much theft, how much confiscation on massive scales. The energy and effort that goes into taking another man's value is immense. Imagine turning all of that effort, all of that skill, all of that energy into serving mankind, because it's the only way you're going to survive. It's the only way you're going to get a little piece of this, is to find a way to serve your fellow man, to find a way to become valuable. It's going to raise the level of productivity on the entire globe, because you're going to have to become valuable to survive. You're going to have to find a way to serve each other well to survive. Because for the first time, the Veblen good, for the first time, the thing of supreme value, for the first time, the scarcest money on earth, for the first time, the scarcest item on the planet cannot be stolen. Wow. I don't know. I don't, am I crazy? Tell me if I'm crazy, guys. Am I crazy? Like, am I seeing this wrong? Am I wrong to be like, wow about this? Tell me. I want you to tell me. Tell me in the comments. It is sad that violence today is so profitable. It has wreaked havoc upon the urge to be violent, has wreaked havoc upon the human species for time immemorial. From the very moment that Cain struck down his brother Abel to now, violence has been used and it has been rewarded. This is the sad part. Violence is a very profitable business. War has saved countries and their economies. War is great business. But Bitcoin has come to end that. Now, how does it do this? How is Bitcoin, and why is Bitcoin not confiscatable? Why can't it not be stolen? Because it's now your word. How crazy is that? It's gone to a place of value that human beings are not allowed there. Human beings are not allowed in the world of math and words, which is really another form of mathematics. We can't steal words. I've used this example before. We can't fuck with math either. Human beings can't fuck up math, right? It doesn't matter what a human being does. 1 + 1 is 2. Like, we can't go there. Human beings mess up everything, but we can't mess up math. We can't even go there. The laws of math are supreme in the universe. They are far and above humans' capability to meddle with, right? So Bitcoin is maths. Bitcoin is literally your word. For the first time, your word is your value. Your word is your bond. Your word is your life the way it should be. And no one can steal your word. For instance, if I used this example before, if if you have the word hope, right? HOPE, that's HOPE, that's 4 letters, right? And you have that word. Oh, I know the word hope. Now, I say, I don't want you to have the word hope anymore. All right, be gone with that. How is that done? How is those letters, HOPE, how is hope ever separated from you? How can I take it? I don't want you to have the word anymore. So, how do I take that word away from you? How? If I throw you in jail until you give it up, will you ever be able to give it up? No. Do you understand that Bitcoin lives in a realm that cannot be fucked with? It cannot be meddled with by human beings. Human beings can't touch it, but they can be it in a way. You are your Bitcoin. There is no real separation. You are Bitcoin is the representation of your value to the world. It is you, it's your word. No one can take that. Now, you can be sloppy with it and not be responsible and let someone else have access to the word and take it. I get that. We're not talking about that. That is user error. I am talking about the fact that Bitcoin, against your will, can never in a million plus years ever be stolen, ever be confiscated, ever be fucked with, manipulated, controlled, debased in any way. Human beings can't touch it. It is also untouchable because it does not live in the physical realm. And I get this. I was a gold bug my whole life. My father was a gold bug, which pretty much made me a gold bug, right? And I was a gold bug all of my life, all the way up to 2020 when I discovered Bitcoin. I socked all of my excess wealth away in gold. I sold assets for gold. Do you understand? I was a gold bug my whole life. And what you hear from the gold community all the time is that Bitcoin lacks this tangibility that gold has. And it does, in a way, that it has nothing to connect to the human senses. You can't touch it or see it or taste it. There is something special about the physicality of gold. I don't know if you've ever held true, sound, solid wealth in your hands. Like, it feels different. I used to play with my dad's gold bricks and sometimes hurt my little fingers because they were heavy. And there's something special about the physicality of solid, indestructible wealth. And I understood this as a gold bug. And it's one of the things that held me back from Bitcoin. It's just, it lacks that tangibility of something real and solid. I understood this. But then it dawned on me. Bitcoin supersedes gold because it is value that is no longer physical. It is ascended into the heavens. without us losing access. Bitcoin is the ascension of gold. It is the resurrection of gold to a more ethereal form that humans have no access. Humans can't mess it up, but they can still have access to it. Bitcoin's lack of tangibility is what makes it not stealable. For thousands of years, wars were ignited to steal another country's, another empire's gold. It incited violence because of its tangibility, because of its physicality. It incited violence. It promoted violence. Gold is the money of wars. And you can point to almost every single war in thousands of years in the past. They're all connected to gold. Gold is the money of violence. And the ascension, gold has died and resurrected itself into a different, more sublime form of value, a form of value that human beings can't touch, but still in a way have access to. It's hard to explain, but it's special. It is not a fault that Bitcoin is not tangible. It is its sublime feature. It lives in a place that we can't fuck with. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it is this because it's not tangible, because it's not physical. Because if it were physical, I can take it from you. Show me the word hope. I know you can write it down, but that's not the word hope, is it? Show me the word hope. It doesn't exist. Show me love. Show me justice. You can show me an act of justice, but you can't show me justice. You can't show me peace. You can show me the manifestation of peace, but you cannot show me peace. You cannot show me love. You cannot show me hope. You cannot show me decency. You can show me an act of decency, but you can't literally, there, decency does not reside in a specific location. The most valuable things in life are the sublime things that do not have a tangibility, that cannot be touched, smelt, licked, or seen. We value the things that we cherish the most in life have no tangibility to them. Peace, love, respect, God. And Bitcoin resides in that realm. It resides in that realm, that intangible realm that we even are ascending to, but a realm in which gold can't go. Gold is sort of like Moses, if you know the story of Moses, right? Where he delivers his people out of slavery on their way to the promised land. But Moses can't enter the promised land. And it's a very interesting story. The entire story is very interesting. Moses delivering his people from Egypt is very interesting because the distance from Egypt and this supposed promised land where prosperity existed and there was flowing of milk and honey and so forth and so on. Prosperity. The distance was about a 2.5 week journey. This is crazy. So slavery and prosperity, freedom, was only 2.5 week journey. Yet Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness with his people, 40 years circling the promised land. But it was only 2.5 weeks away. So why were they just circling the promised land for 40 freaking years? Because every single slave that came out of Egypt had to die. And only those born in freedom had the right to enter the promised land, had a right to the prosperity. Those who were slaves could not shed the slave mentality, could not shed the old way, and they had to die. It took 40 years for every single slave to die. And only those who were born in the midst of that 40-year journey, they were born free, could enter into the promised land. Not even Moses, because he was not born free. Why am I telling you this story? Because it's the story of gold and Bitcoin. Gold is Moses. It brought us a 6,000-year journey in the wilderness of sound money, the soundest that we could have. "40 years in the wilderness with gold, 6,000 years in the wilderness with gold." But we are now ready to enter the promised land. True, unadulterated prosperity, devoid of slavery, devoid of theft and confiscation. It's time for the human race to experience that ultimate level of prosperity, the promised land. And gold can't go there. In the same way that Moses could not enter into the kingdom of heaven or the promised land, gold can't go there. Why? Because it's slave money, because it's war money, because it's violence money, because it's tangible. The new world of value is not tangible. Love is not tangible. This is what every human being seeks. Peace is not tangible. It is a state. Decency, honesty, justice, Bitcoin. We now are being ascended into the ethereal worlds of value, the intangibles, let's call it. And gold can't go there. It carried us a long way. But now it's over. So gold promoted wars and violence because it was physical. Bitcoin can't be stolen, confiscated, or taken against anyone's will by violence, and therefore is the new value of peace. And on top of the peace it will bring a level of human productivity that the entire race has never experienced before. Humans have a glorious history. It is spotted by some dark things, of course, but its history is quite glorious. But the future will make the history. The past will pale in comparison to the future. The level or amount of productivity and prosperity that is in front of the human race today is stupefying. And we are being, in my opinion, prepared for that via Bitcoin, the intangible form of one's value. Bitcoin will become the most valuable item on earth. On April 20th, it becomes the hardest asset that has ever existed in the human during the human species lifespan. Never have we had an asset harder as of April 20th. Never a money harder as of April 20th. And by the end of 2025, the most valuable asset on planet Earth. That is what I believe. And so, Bitcoin is peace. Bitcoin is peace, guys. What do you have to say about that? All right. Let's see what you got here for me. What questions do you have here for me? I appreciate you all coming here. There's 873 people here. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tariq says, everyone is broke and tired of a violent world. That's for sure. Bitcoin will allow peace and replace war if we stop looking for physical stuff and seek love, peace. Yes, that's right. What Bitcoin will also do is liberate the human spirit, because the need to labor for another man is a form of slavery. We have given slavery all of these different fancier names, right? Employment. I've got employment, but most forms of employment are really just a light form of slavery, right? Whenever you are not in control of your time, you are a slave. What we call being a slave is when you have when someone else controls 100% of your time. That is a slave. And all of the fruits of the labor of that time belong to someone else. That's a slave, right? So 100% of your time is owned and controlled by someone else. And any fruits or the fruits of the labor of that time don't belong to you, right? That's a slave. Well, let's take most forms of employment today. You're not in control of your time. All right. Most people don't even want to work, right? They're not in control of their time, and they don't have access to the fruits of their labor. Now they get a little pittance, but you know what I mean. Bitcoin is going to liberate the human species from this quasi-slave state, because we're going to work for not something that is no longer human. That your work will not be for another man. It will be for mankind. Of course, groups will get together with one single focus. I'm not saying that's going to stop, but that will be a choice. That'll be a desire that will be out of passion. But we have something now that is mathematically designed to secure our future. There is nothing more certain and secure than maths. Mathematics take care of us now. No longer another human being. Maths, the laws of mathematics take care of us now through Bitcoin. We serve universal laws of math now. We work for the universal laws of math now. And the universal laws of math are what rewards us and secures us and our future down the line. And no man can mess with that anymore. Imagine this. Imagine something that is mathematically guaranteed to increase in value every 4 years, forever. Forever. That's Bitcoin. Guys, no one can stop it. No one can influence it. No one can stop it. Every 4 years, it is mathematically guaranteed to increase in value every 4 years. Now, tie your life to that. And what happens to your life? It goes into an upward trajectory forever. Every 4 years, your life is guaranteed to be exponentially better, bigger, more valuable, wealthier. That's insane when you think about that. Why would you serve something else? Why would you work for something else? Why not work for that? Why not work for what is guaranteed? What has made promises to you that's never been broken? Everything else in life has broken its promise to you. Everything. You can't think of one thing in your life that hasn't broke a promise. Your parents have broken a promise to you. I guarantee you. Your kids have broken a promise to you. Your family has failed you. Your neighbors have failed you. Your group at church has failed you. Some of you believe your God has failed you. Everything in your existence has failed you except Bitcoin. Bitcoin has never, ever broken a promise. It's the only thing on planet Earth that has never broken a promise and that is mathematically guaranteed not to break a promise. So why should we be giving our life to things that have always broken their promises to us? Why should we continue to give our lives to uncertainty when for the first time in the human species, we have mathematical certainty in the form of our value, our money? We've never had that. And the things of value that we had were always stolen from us, always taken. And for the first time, we have something that can't break its promise to you, that won't break its promise to you, that is mathematically designed to increase you every 4 years, forever. And if you leave it to your children, it will continue increasing your bloodline every 4 years, forever, until eternity. Never broke a promise, never failed. The most secure thing on earth, the most certain thing. And yet, we still continue to give our life and our time like slaves to other things that have broken their promises to us, that have failed us. This is why Bitcoin is the ultimate IQ test. It's the ultimate IQ test because that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you shun what has never failed for what has always failed. That's low IQ move right there. We've got 15 freaking years already. How many more years do you need to start believing that you should give your life to this? How many more? 30 more years? Like, what are you going to be, 85? It's going to take Bitcoin to keep doing what it said it was going to do forever, for 85 years, then you're going to believe it? Like, at what point have you decided, people, if you're not a believer, have you decided what it's going to take for you to become a believer? Because if you just don't believe without knowing the requirement for belief, then you're a fool. You're not necessarily a fool if you don't believe, but you have a metric for believing. So you can say, Oliver, I'm not quite sold on this yet, but if Bitcoin does become the most valuable thing on earth, then I will be a believer. Okay, that's not a fool. That's not highly intelligent, but it's not a fool. A fool is, I just don't believe it. Just, well, can you give me something else? No, I just think it's phony. That's it. It's that's it. Can't give me anything else than that. Like, dude, that's a fool. All right. But if you have a metric, Oliver, I need to see, Doubting Thomas said, I will not believe until I put my finger in the wound and feel the blood coursing through his veins, right? All right, fine. That's not a fool. It's got a metric for belief. I respect people who have a metric for belief. I respect people that come and say, Oliver, man, I don't buy the Bitcoin thing, but I will if this, and this happen. That's okay. I respect that. That's well thought out. Person put some thought into it. But I just think it's phony. I can't touch it. That's a fool. So have a metric to your disbelief. That's fine. But I will tell you that 15 years should be enough. In my industry, I've been in the professional financial world for 40 years, got 40 plus years. In all of my career, you know what the gold standard was? 10 years. I was taught from my very first day in this business that, Oliver, 10 years is what you need to acquire. My first day, you got to be in this 10 years. Nobody's going to respect you until you get 10 years under your belt, kid. I learned that 10 years was the gold standard, that you could fake 2 years. You could even fake 5 years. But if you last for 10 years, if you are good throughout that 10-year period, you survive, but not only survive, you actually kill it over a 10-year period, no one will ever doubt you. Your career is secure forever because that's the gold standard. You can't luck into a 10-year record. I used to be told, Oliver, you can't luck into 10 years. You can luck into a good 2-year period, 3-year period, maybe even a 5-year period. But 10 years is too long to be labeled luck. All right. Too many things will have happened over a 10-year to test your mettle. Several black swans would have come to cause you to crash back to earth and come back. The bottom line is that 10 years was always the golden standard. You want to know if a mutual fund has really got a talented management team around them? Check their 10-year record, not their 2-year record, not their 5-year record. Check their 10-year record. You want to know if a money manager is good? Check their 10-year record, not their 2-year record, not their 5-year record, their 10-year record. You want to know if anything is real, you're going to know after 10 years whether that person is true to you through and through. 10 years, buddy. That's life's golden standard. Now, Bitcoin is giving you bozos 15 years. So how many more do you need? How many more? In that 15 years, it has trounced everything you've ever trusted, everything that you ever deemed worthy. It has killed it. Every asset class. Oh, you like gold? Kill gold. Oh, you like the stock market? Kill the stock market. Oh, you like real estate, don't you? Kill real estate. It has demonstrated in 15 years that everything that you think is more important than me, I've killed it now. Now what? I have destroyed. If Bitcoin could say something to you, it would say, I have destroyed everything that you have deemed worthy. And all of these things have failed you except me. I've given you 15 years. I am number one in every conceivable category you can ever think of. And I'm not giving you, and I've not done this over 2 years, 5 years. I've done this over 15 years, and I'm never, ever sick at sea. I've never failed you. I've never fluttered, not even once. I've taken all the bows and arrows. I have lived through the criticisms. I've died 478 times, and I've come back to life for you. What else do you need? What else? Oh, Oliver, I don't know. I don't believe it. I kind of get it in a way. It's almost like it's too good to be true. And that is a worthy doubt, right? If something throughout our lives, if something was too good to be true, you could bet pretty accurately that it was probably not true. It's just too good. And Bitcoin kind of fits that category. Can it be this good? And you know what gets me around that? You know what helps me reconcile that? Because I've been a practitioner of that. It's too good to be true. It's not true. But you know what helps me reconcile this with Bitcoin? Is when I realize it's maths. Of course it's true. Dude, Bitcoin is just math. When has 1 + 1 not equal 2? Always. We have lived with certainty, maths. We do know certainty, maths. I would trust math more than any politician. I would trust math more than anybody in my family. I can rely on math. I can bet my life on mathematics. I can bet my life. Someone wants to bet, all right, Oliver, I bet you $1 million. I bet you $1 million, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. I take that bet every single time. And certainly I would win. Bitcoin has brought maths to our value. That's all it's done. It's given us the ability to express our value in the laws of maths. That's all it's done. Making it the most secure, the most certain value that human beings have ever had. It's wild. I know some of you guys are. I know some of you guys say, this dude here, whoo, this dude is loco. I am loco. I'm loco, man. But Bitcoin guys bit me hard. Bit me in the ass hard. Ah! It bit me hard, man, guys. Oh, oh, yeah. Whoa, guys, take a look at this. Every time I talk, man, Bitcoin does this for me. I appreciate what it does for me, for us. I appreciate it. Guys, take a look. Boom. 69. 69. Your favorite number. There you go. You, your children, their children, because of Bitcoin, will not have to work, slave, give the most valuable commodity they have, their time, to another man. Think about this, people. They will never have to give the most valuable thing they have to another human being without them wanting to. Bitcoin's going to deliver that for them. I do not believe that that's the natural state of a human being, to have to give. Time is the stuff that your very life is made up of. Your life is made up of time. It is truly the most valuable thing you possess, your time, and you've only got a set amount of it. And to give this most sublime thing, your time, your very life, to give that to another man, I don't think that's the plight of the human race. I think that when you are free, your time is used to lift up all of humanity, not one single man or one company or one this or that, and they throw you a little few shekels. But you can follow your heart. You can follow your passion. You can take time to discover that one thing that you do better than almost every human being on earth. We all have that, people. Everyone has that one thing. That's how unique we are. Every human being has one thing that they do better than every other one of the 8 billion people on planet Earth. Everyone has that. That's crazy to think about it. But we don't have time to find it. We're mired in debt. We've got babies crying. The baby needs new shoes. I've got the mortgage payment. I've got my job. I got to travel to my job, travel back, work on the job, overtime, that. But what if your time was liberated by Bitcoin? What if it had the capability of doing that? Then what would you do? I get a lot of people that say, Oliver, your lifestyle seems so incredible, man. I'd like to have your lifestyle. And what these people don't understand is that being free from having to work for another man is not, it's to be aspired to, but it is not easy. What do you do when you get all of your time back? What do you do with it? Like, I had to learn this. I was like, well, so now what do I do? And you realize that almost everybody's working for another man, so you're alone and shit. Like, there's nobody around. Like, I'm free, but there's nobody around. Where is everybody? Oh, they're working for other men. That's what they. And so it's lonely when you're free, right? Number one, it's lonely. There's nobody around, right? Number one. Number two, what do you do with your time when you get it all back? Right? What do you do with it? And you know, I used to be like so. Man, I've been to that restaurant 197 times. Like, where else do I go? What else do I do? Where else do I go? I've been here 27 times. I've been there 197 times. I've done this 812 times. Like, you start to run out of shit to do, right? And then it's like, now what do I do? And that's when you realize what you're really supposed to be here doing in the first place. How do I utilize my time to uplift humanity, to improve the world, to make someone else's life just a little bit better? That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's the only thing that brings about completeness and happiness, right? Because if you think money brings you happiness, you've got another thing coming. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying there's a lot of freaking wealthy, miserable people in the world. That does not bring about happiness. The only thing that brings about completeness, this sense of wholeness, this deep satisfaction with the time you are taking up Earth's resources, right? Is if you are uplifting someone else, if what you do is appreciated and loved and benefits other people. And so Bitcoin has the ability to free your time to the point where you get to start pondering, what do I do with my time? And you're going to find out, you're going to start using your time to benefit society. And this is going to uplift the whole world, guys. This meme that Bitcoin fixes everything, it's kind of true. I mean, it's not true, but kind of, it's almost true. Imagine a world where you can't steal anymore. Like, guys, look, every stealing doesn't work. Now people have to do what? If they can't steal anymore, if I can't take the word hope from you, is there any benefit in killing you? No, because I still don't get the word hope from you. So if stealing disappears off planet Earth, what steps in its place? Serving. I can't steal from you to get what you have. So now I have to serve you to get what you have. And I think that's a beautiful world. I think that's a beautiful world. Bitcoin is long-term savings tech. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, guys, yes. Look, Gen X BTC says people thought they were late buying at 1K, 5K, 11K, 20K. Some of you might even be feeling like you're late at 70K, 69K, 70K. Let me put you to rest. You will within the next few years, you're going to see Bitcoin move in a single day 70,000. The whole value today. You think you're late at 70? Wait, the days are not that far away where Bitcoin's entire daily movement will be 70,000. you're you're far from freaking late. The game hasn't even freaking started. You're late? We haven't even started. No, not even close. I say, you know, when I say the game starts, it's just my theory. The game starts when we have, yeah, Satoshi penny parity. That's the start. This is the freaking warm up. Do you know what Satoshi being equivalent to a penny? Because right now, a Satoshi is, you put 3 zeros in front of the price, right? So it's 0.000. You put 3 zeros after the period, right? So 0.00069. So it's 3 decimal places away. It's 3 digits away from penny parity, right? So $1 million Bitcoin. And that's just coming up with a rounded number. I think if you're buying Bitcoin at $1 million of Bitcoin, that's still early. And I can prove it to you that it's early. How do I do this? Yes, I can prove it to you that it's early. Let me show it to you. If I can find this thing here. Give me a second here. I'll find it. Mhm. Whoa. Damn, I post a lot. I didn't, because I didn't realize I post this much. Like, I have to scroll through this shit. My God, you guys must be freaking tired of, oh, here's another post by Oliver. Oh, here it is. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Another post by Oliver. Is it this one? Or is it this one? Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So, guys, look at this. We're not freaking early. Are you kidding me? Just look at this thing. Look at, so there's roughly, guys, these are rough numbers, right? There's roughly $900 trillion in value, and this number is going up, right? So it's $900 trillion in total value in the world today, right? And look at your big categories. There's real estate is the biggest. Bonds, real estate and bonds, they're pretty close. You've got money, currencies, right? Paper, money, and shit. You got equities, 150. You got art and all of this stuff, right? Gold at 15 trillion. Look at Bitcoin. You're not early. Now, that orange dot is going to suck a good portion of each one of those squares into itself. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? because it's superior and you can't stop it. You cannot stop Bitcoin from sucking into itself the value from all of these things. It is not something that humans can stop. It is we are sucked into the superior thing over time. Every single time. The superior thing. Gold was the most superior thing the world had for a long period of time, and the world got sucked into it. There are kingdoms, emperors that sported gold. It took over planet Earth, and there was nothing humans could do about it. We are sucked into the superior thing, and it doesn't matter what we think or believe. It just is going to happen. The superior thing sucks into itself. Bitcoin is superior to each one of these squares. It is a better real estate, it's superior to real estate as a store of value. And we need homes to live in and shit. But I'm saying as a store of value, as an investment, not even close. Bonds, are you kidding me? Bonds just had the worst period since 1812. Like, they're done. Bonds are done. That's trash. This $300 trillion. You think it's going to stay there? Where's it going to go? Bitcoin. And we didn't have it before. Now we've got, it's going to Bitcoin. That green box money, that's a melting freaking ice cube, right? That's fiat money. Melting ice cube. Melting at a faster rate than ever before in history. You think that's going to stay there? Where is it going to go? Bitcoin. You know, you think people are going to keep buying ugly art to put on the wall? They don't even freaking like it. The shit's ugly, but my advisor said that, it'll retain its value. People are going to stop buying ugly art. Ugly art is finished. I'm telling you, Bitcoin is here. Ugly art is done. All you artists, you better stop. You're not going to be able to sell ugly art anymore. I'm telling you. Bitcoin's ending that. Shoot. I had 298 watches. I auctioned them off for Bitcoin. I was a watch collector. 298, all right? Almost 300 watches. Most of them were Patek Philippe's. I was a Patek Philippe collector. Guys, all the way back from 1995, I started collecting Patek Philippe watches. Auction that whole shit off for Bitcoin in late 2020. What was I using it for? Store of value. Store of value. Now, this was free. It's crazy. What about equity? I don't know if you know the concept of PE ratio, right? Price to earnings ratio. That shit's going to be squashed by Bitcoin. Why should you be buying 55 times the price of what a company's value really is? In what world is that good? 55 PE ratio? You're buying 55 years in advance. 55 times what its real, true, intrinsic value is right now. 55 PE ratio. And you're telling me that's in clown world. Do you understand? When the money is broken, bullshit like that becomes normal. In a sound, sane world, you don't buy something 55 times its value. You don't do that, right? So why is that the case? Because we don't have anything that's better than cash. My cash is melting, so I'm gonna stick it there. It's better than cash. But now you've got something better than buying something 55 times its value, Bitcoin. Can you hear the sound? I can hear it. It sounds like this. That's Bitcoin sucking in the value from equities, bonds, sucking in the value from bonds, real estate. Why do I have 15 freaking buildings, man? 15 buildings, 15 billions, buildings, 150 different units. I got tenant problems. I got legal problems. I got tax problems. I got maintenance problems. I got wear and tear. I got depreciation and shit. I got possibility this building is being taken by eminent domain. I got somebody suing. I got people suing me in 3 of the 15 buildings I have because they claim they tripped off the sidewalk. Like that shit's gonna disappear. Instead of that bullshit, I just put it in Bitcoin. It performs better exponentially. It's more secure. It's with me at all times. It's global in nature. I am never without it. It's the most liquid asset on planet Earth. It's never shut down. It's open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Everybody, I can sell it in an instant if I want to. Like, how do you compete against that? How? How do you compete with that? You can't. And this is why it is guaranteed to win. It's why it's winning. Do you understand? It's why it's winning. And you can't tell me that Bitcoin's not winning. Like, don't even go there. I am telling you, you better not go there. Don't even tell. There's Oliver, how are you going to say that Bitcoin is winning? What do you mean? You can't tell me that this. Let's see here. I'll show it to you. Man, I've been talking too long here, guys. Oh my goodness. All right. To see. I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. Which one is this? Oh, so this is not winning? That's not freaking winning? Most of you can't even say those numbers. Like, which number is that? It's crazy. One thing I will say, the last thing I will say is this, guys. There are people who, there's this kind of rift when it comes to Bitcoin. And the rift is the pull between, is Bitcoin supposed to be money? Meaning medium of exchange. That's what most people think money is, but money is a multi-faceted thing. It's not just one thing, right? There are different forms of money. And should is Bitcoin money? Like it shouldn't it should we be isn't its success based on stores and shit accepting it and me being able to buy coffee from Starbucks with it and that. Or is it a store of value? Should it be just like a freaking rock like gold was and just sit there? And there's this battle between these two ideologies, right? Where the ones that think it should be money and you buy milk with it and shit and you put gas in your car with it, you pay for gas in your car with it. That group feels that Bitcoin has failed because it has not lived up to being a medium of exchange. The store of value group feels like they're winning because there has never been a better store of value ever in the history of human mankind. So which one is right? Well, both are right in a way, but the store of value people are more right. And that's because nothing can become a medium of exchange before it has spent a long time being a store of value first. It must be stored first by every human being on planet Earth before human beings start trading it back and forth with each other. It makes no sense to go straight to medium of exchange and almost nobody has it. If you think that when I tell people no one has Bitcoin, it's like, Oliver, no, that's not true. And I say, well, no, nobody has it yet. It has become the best performing thing humans have ever seen. And it's done it with nobody having it. Imagine if people start having it. And they're like, well, what do you mean nobody has it? Nobody. Ask any, if you look at your family members, how many people in your family have Bitcoin? Right? If your neighbors, how many of your neighbors have Bitcoin? Right. Church group? Your friends? Hello? Nobody's got Bitcoin. Now think of this. It has trounced every asset in the world. It has trounced everything we know, have ever known, and no one has it. Can you imagine? That's what I mean. We haven't even started yet. If Bitcoin has done this and nobody has it, oh my God. What if 1% get it? 5%, 10%. My God, it's stupefying, right? But we must have it, almost all of us, before we can start using it as a medium of exchange. Medium of exchange morphs into being after you can assume almost everyone I pass on the street today has Bitcoin. I know almost every single person has Bitcoin. The same way in America, walking down a busy street in New York City, everyone has dollars in their pocket. Every single person has dollars in their pocket. You're not going to be far off. They might not have a lot of them. Some of them people might have more, but they all have dollars, all of them. Medium of exchange. But when you walk down the street, you can say, on a busy street in New York, I can tell you almost nobody I pass today has Bitcoin. You're in the store of value phase still. And this is a phase that we do not want to rush people, because number go up is store of value. Medium of exchange is tapering off. Understand? You don't want medium of exchange right now. We want number go up right now. So my point is that people in this rift don't understand how money must go from being a collectible, then it morphs into a store of value, which is where we are now with Bitcoin. And then after the store of value, after most people have stored it, you see, it stops appreciating because everyone's in already. The appreciation comes from people coming in and blowing it up, right? But when everybody's in, right, it just starts to stabilize and maintain its value. Then there's no opportunity cost using it for coffee. But now you use Bitcoin for coffee today, that's going to be the world's most expensive cup of Joe ever. It's gonna be like I don't know, $100 million cup of coffee in the future sometime. It's crazy, right? So there's opportunity cost now because we're in store of value. But as the majority of people get in, that's when it will naturally start being used more frequently between each other, swapping it for value, and it starts to speed up and become a vibrant medium of exchange. And at that point, you can go from medium of exchange to unit of account. So there is this fundamental misunderstanding of the evolutionary stages that a money goes through to be sound. And what the altcoiners, the shitcoiners, the scammers, what they are trying to do is cheat this evolutionary process. They want to go straight to medium of exchange. Bullshit. Life doesn't work that way. And they're scammers at worst or dumb at best by not understanding this. Sorry, shitcoiners. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. The only way I'm going to sell my Bitcoin is if I know I'm going to die tomorrow. Yeah. A lot of people ask me that, Oliver, but when do you sell it? I sell it for what? I believe that when it's time, you believe it's time to sell Bitcoin, you will understand that you don't sell Bitcoin. That enough will be built on top of Bitcoin's layers that will give you the ability to utilize its value without ever letting it go. The same way that you can have knowledge about, you can have expert knowledge about a thing, all right? And you can utilize that knowledge, that expert knowledge, but the very use of it does not eliminate the knowledge. So by utilizing your knowledge, you don't have less knowledge. Like if I have $100 in my pocket and I utilize $25 of it, I have $25 less. I have $75 now. But knowledge doesn't work that way. If I have knowledge of something and I utilize the knowledge, I still have 100% of the knowledge. That is what Bitcoin's going to become. These things are going to be built on top of Bitcoin that allow you to utilize your power, utilize your value without deplenishing the value. And as I say this, things are being built on top of Bitcoin to allow you to do that. You will not have to sell, but you will still be able to use the value. It's a beautiful thing. The days of giving your value to another man, it's coming to an end. No more. We're not going to be tricked anymore to do that. Let me hold on to your value. No, you can't do it. You're not responsible enough. I'll take it. I'll take your value for you. No, those days are over. Bitcoin is taking us, we're ascending to a new state of being. No man touches my value. It stays with me. It's always with me. I'm not trusting another man. Man has failed me. No, no more. No more trust. My trust is in maths now. All right, guys. I've talked to guys. How long have I been talking here? 1,747 people. You see, guys, I did a survey, right here on X, right? Did a survey. Do you like the audio talks, just the lives audio, or you like the video? Oliver, we don't need to see your face. We don't need to, Oliver, we don't need to see your face. I like to listen while I sweep the floor. Everybody said, no, we don't. But I get numbers like this when it's video, and I get numbers like this when it's not video. So I barely get 100 people when it's audio. There's almost 2,000 people here. So you're liars. You lie. You're lying to me. All right, guys, listen, I gotta go. The last thing I'm going to share with you is this. I made a post yesterday about how Bitcoin helps you become a better human being. And some people actually took issue with this. They took issue with this because they couldn't see how a financial asset would make you a better person. It can make you richer or wealthier, but a better human being? Yes, a better human being. And the way it does this, people, is that it changes our time preference. Remember, I told you that Bitcoin gives you your time back, but it changes, in so doing, it changes your time preference, and it does it this way. It makes you say, wait a minute. It makes you pause before you do something that is involved in you giving your value to someone else or to something else. It makes you more thoughtful. It lowers your time preference. It takes the impulse, that impulsive human desire to satisfy the me now at the expense of the me tomorrow. And what Bitcoin does is it reverses that. It actually encourages, it incentivizes that you actually sacrifice the me now. The current self must fast. The current self must be disciplined in favor of the future self, the future me. And it slows everything down. It makes you understand and apply more consideration to what is truly valuable. It makes you want to last. It makes you want to be healthier. It makes you want to be better tomorrow. It makes you want to live to a purer life. because everything that is not pure comes from the impulse now. Everything. All of your mistakes in life have come from that impulse now. And Bitcoin says, let's do something for the you tomorrow. Let's make the now sacrifice a little bit. Let's make the now fast. That's what fasting is all about, right? Subjugating the desires now for a better later. And this conquering of the human spirit, this regaining control of this human impulse to be wasteful, to not consider the future. Nobody freaking saves today. Everybody's in debt. Nobody's thinking about tomorrow. This greatness comes from those who think about tomorrow, those who consider tomorrow, those who work on who am I going to be 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 2 years from now. That's gone today. It's all impulsive now. And Bitcoin lowers, it flip-flops that. It says, this right here is not worth 0.01 Bitcoin. I'm not doing it. It forces you to consider real value, puts you back on track, into thinking, how do I make tomorrow better than today? And how do I make next week better than this week? Because far too many people today are living in a way where they're just waiting for a week to be better. Like, I just hope this week is better than last week. Like, it doesn't work that way. Your week today is the manifestation of what your week was last week. What you did last week, you're seeing that this week. And so when you consciously understand that I manufacture my next week today, this is what Bitcoin puts you back in this place where you become you're back in the driver's seat. You become the captain of your life again, the captain of your soul. No other asset's done that for me. Gold came close. There was something always special about holding massive wealth in your hand and having it look back at you and winking at it. So gold almost did it, but Bitcoin took it all the way, guys. All right, man. Love you guys. All right. Thank you very much. 1,800 people here. That's crazy, guys. All right. I made a promise a long time ago, guys, like 30 years ago, I made this promise that I speak all over the world on financial matters. And I've been doing this for 30 years. And I made a promise that no matter what podium I ever spoke from, what mic, no matter what size of an audience, I would do my best to deliver something of value every single time I was given the privilege of someone's attention. Your attention is priceless. Companies spend billions of dollars to have it, to get your attention. You gave me your attention over the last couple of hours. That is something I don't take for granted. I hope I've lived up to my promise. I hope I've given something in return for your attention, a value just a little bit, something that perhaps you can ponder on, something that you can maybe use for the rest of your life. But if I haven't, if I failed, I'll get better. I promise, every single time. Boom. 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 All right, guys. Time to go eat. Time for now. Woo!